At 4:03 p.m., my wife Mia, 28 weeks pregnant, unlatched our barn gate to let a hay delivery pull through. At 4:05, a tan visor appeared at the corner of my camera feed like a storm cloud with legs. "You can't use this gate," the visor snapped. "It's common property." "It's our barn access," Mia said, steady. "Please step back." At 4:07, the visor kicked, shin level. Mia stumbled against the post, one hand on the gate, the other on her belly. At 4:11, the state troopers rolled in, the gate, the rule, and the line we drew in chalk. We bought this little piece of heaven in the spring, 5 acres inside an HOA that loves newsletters and hates dust. Our barn sits along the back fence. A gravel drive runs from the barn gate to our lane, and once a month a hay truck noses in, drops bales, and backs out like a polite elephant. The CC&Rs are clear on one thing: no obstructions in common lanes. We don't. Our lane is ours. The board maintains the paved roads, we maintain gravel on our parcel. But our neighbor Diane, tan visor, clipboard, chair of community standards, decided our barn gate was part of a shared equestrian trail that the developer once drew on a brochure and never recorded. She sent warnings for dust, delivery times, and unsightly hay. We answered with receipts, property plat showing the barn drive and gate fully inside our parcel, the easement legend, none across our gate, a delivery schedule printed, "For our driver, Tuesdays 3-4 p.m., in and out in 8 minutes. Diane replied with the HOA's most famous word, "Nevertheless." The day it went. Too Far Tuesday was bright and dry, a day that makes hay sweet and tempers short. The driver texted, 10 minutes out. Mia grabbed a bottle of water, waddled in that beautiful way that looks like courage, and headed to the HOA. I was in the shop resetting a breaker, half listening for gravel crunch. The barn camera pinged, person detected. I glanced down. Diane marched up the fence line, visor angled like a threat. "Gate stays closed," she said, planting herself in the opening. "Not your gate," Mia said, calm. "Please move." "Deliveries are banned during school pickup hours," Diane announced, as if she'd found a law in her visor brim. "That's not in the rules," Mia said. "And Step aside," Diane snapped and kicked toward the bottom of the gate. Her shoe caught Mia's shin. Mia gasped, not a scream. This soft, shocked "oh" that popped every fuse in my head. She grabbed the post. Her hand went to her belly, then to her pocket for her phone. "Siri, call Mark," she said, voice shaking. The shop door slammed open against my shoulder as I ran. 4 minutes that felt like a year. I reached Mia in seconds. Her shin was flushing pink. Her eyes were wet and furious. Her other hand pressed low on her belly like a promise. "I'm okay," she said through her teeth. It was my leg. The hay truck idled at the lane's edge, driver wide-eyed. Diane stood in the gate, chin out, like she'd just written the Constitution. "You can't block this," I said, stepping to the side, leaving space between me and her. "Mia, sit." I pointed at the mounting block by the fence. "Feet up." I hit 911. "Pregnant woman assaulted at a barn gate," I said. "No weapons. We have video. We need troopers and EMS to check mom and baby." "Units en route," the dispatcher said, voice calm. "Stay on the line. Keep her seated and still. If she feels dizzy or cramping, tell me." Diane tried to speak. I raised my palm. "Do not talk to my wife. Do not touch my gate. Community standards," she began, "are not medical care," I said, and my voice did that low, steel thing I wish I never had to use. I focused on Mia. "Breathe with me," I said. "In for 4, out for 6. She matched me, stubborn and brave. The baby kicked. Relief tripped my knees. Our neighbor Jerry jogged up with his phone already recording. "Got your 6, he said, breathless. He stepped between Diane and the gate like a plug in a leak. And then, praise be to geography and timing, I heard the whoop of a siren cut quick. Troopers, a medic, and a law I never wanted to learn. To state. Troopers rolled up fast but smooth. Lights bright, siren off, gravel respectful. One trooper, a woman with that mom energy you can't fake, went straight to Mia. "Ma'am, I'm Trooper Graves. Can I touch your wrist? Let's check pulse." She called for EMS as she took vitals. "Any abdominal pain? Any cramping?" "Just scared," Mia said, the bravest sentence in English. The other trooper, Martinez, looked at me, then at Diane. "What happened?" I pointed to the barn cam mounted on the eave. "It's on video. She kicked and blocked our gate." Martinez faced Diane. "Ma'am, step away from the gate." "I'm HOA," she said, as if a visor were a badge. "They can't use this during pickup hours." "There is no HOA pickup law," Martinez said, clipboard calm. "You're on private property. Did you kick her?" "She moved into me," Diane said, hands flapping the air between us. Graves had Mia's vitals stable. "Ambulance is 2 minutes out," she said. To Mia, "We're going to recommend a precautionary check at the hospital. Baby's worth that drive." Martinez spoke into his radio, eyes still on Diane. "Detain one for investigation. Battery on a pregnant person." Diane laughed this dry, shocked laugh. "I barely touched her." Martinez's voice didn't change. "In this state, any intentional touch that causes harm or provokes is battery. When the victim is pregnant and you know, or reasonably should know that, it's aggravated. Hands behind your back." He cuffed her, gentle and firm. No theatrics. Just gravity. The longest short ride EMS arrived in a wash of orange and gentleness. They checked Mia again, loaded her onto the gurney, and promised more monitors than the moon landing. I climbed into the passenger seat of the ambulance, my hands suddenly too big for my knees. Graves leaned into the open door. "We've got the video," she said. "We'll take statements and you'll get a report number at the hospital. Do you have someone to handle the delivery?" "Jerry," I said, and he saluted with the ridiculous sincerity of a man who once organized a neighborhood potluck like it was D-Day. At the hospital, they strapped 2 belts around Mia's belly. The room filled with the sound I will never get over. Our baby's heartbeat, galloping like a tiny, determined horse. I cried into the crook of my elbow and tried not to make it about me. The obstetrician said words like reassuring, no contractions, bruising on shin only. Mia squeezed my hand so hard my ring bit. Graves arrived with a clipboard, a card, and a soft smile. "We charged her with battery and trespass pending review," she said. "There's also the HOA angle, which is separate. If you need a protective order, the magistrate can help. We already notified the property manager." "Thank you," Mia said. Her voice shook. "Thank you for coming fast." Graves nodded. 4 minutes is the official timestamp," she said. "We try." The meeting, where the board ran out of nevertheless. 2 days later, the HOA called an emergency meeting. The clubhouse was full. Some people came curious, some came angry, most came with casseroles for Mia. The board president, Evan, looked like a man who'd aged a year in 48 hours. He opened with, "We do not condone physical contact. We are here to fix our process." The HOA attorney, who has learned to sit in the front row, stood. "Board members and volunteers are not law enforcement," she said. "They may not block driveways, touch residents, or interfere with deliveries on private lots. If there's a violation, the process is notice, hearing, and a fine, not physical confrontation." Carla tried to say nevertheless, but the room made that sound a room makes when it is done with nevertheless. I spoke second. My voice was steady because Mia was in the back with a blanket and Jerry's emergency cookies. "You sent emails." "We answered with maps. We showed the gate is ours. You kept sending a person to stand in it. She kicked my pregnant wife. That's where your policy ends and my line begins." Silence hung like a curtain. Then the attorney read the motion. "Confirm. The barn gate and gravel lane are within our parcel. Cease all trail claims not recorded on the plat. Adopt a no-contact policy. Board volunteers may not physically block, touch, or approach residents in a confrontational manner. Observe and report only. Create a quiet hours delivery guideline that's voluntary and neighborly, not enforced by bodies, so trucks avoid school bus windows when possible. Require de-escalation training and a sign-off on a code of conduct for any volunteer. Apologize to Mia in writing and offer to pay medical costs not covered by insurance. It passed with more hands than I expected. Even people who like rules don't like kicks. Evan brought a letter to our porch that night. It had the word we both needed. Sorry, after, and a little before Mia healed in days. The bruise went from plum to yellow to gone. The tightness in my chest took longer, but it loosened with every monitor beep replaying in my head. Our babies. Gallop louder than any visor. Diane's case moved from charged to plea. She admitted to trespass and simple battery, took probation and a no-contact order, and resigned from the board. I hope she finds a life with fewer clipboards and more quiet. We installed 2 tasteful signs at the gate. Private barn access. No HOA beyond this point. Deliveries. Please text if the gate is closed. Thank you. We brought the hay driver oatmeal cookies because bribing angels is allowed. And one morning, long after the bruise faded, Mia put my hand on her belly and whispered, "Kick back, little one." The baby obliged. We both laughed that shaky laugh you laugh when relief needs a place to go. What a gate taught a neighborhood property. Lines beat opinions. If a trail isn't recorded, it's a rumor. Get the plat, print it, highlight it, no touching ever. Volunteers don't block gates, grab phones, or put hands on neighbors. Observe and report. Let written process do its job. Medical first. If a pregnant person is struck, even lightly, call 911 and get checked. Pride is not a plan. Cameras are quiet heroes. One clear angle saved hours of arguing. Fix the system. Clear no-contact rules and de-escalation training cost less than 1 ER copay and save more than face. If you want more stories where clipboards run into boundaries and the law shows up right on time, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share your wildest HOA moment in the comments. We'll bring cookies. You bring the receipts.